Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scouser. Morning coffee or tea with American Scouser on a Wednesday morning for Christmas Eve. I am here as the world's number two, and as you guys can see, trying really freaking hard to take over that number one spot. Dressing up in costumes and everything. Behind us, the Gordo the Cowboy is here. What's going on?
Good morning. Ho, ho, ho. Just thought I'd pop in before my big night.
That's possibly the worst.
That song is still playing, by the way, in the background.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Sounds like we're at a club mix. It's good.
Okay. Yeah, it's gone now, yeah.
Look,
was that the Christmas song I made for?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that is an original. It should keep playing. Actually, I didn't even think about that. I should have played it a lot more.
It was on cycle, but I got something for you, Timucin, in my sack here. It's the e-sack situation.
This is why we don't prepare bits. And we do this mostly live. Now you know, yeah. So do you go out as a Santa occasionally, that you have this costume handy, or is this something with the wife you guys do on the side, or what's going on here?
No. She's not into fat men, I guess.
She's into older men. Yeah.
No, so because of who I am, right? I always play Santa for the kids because I end up spending most of the time at parties hanging out with the kids anyway. So I'm the goofy one. It's like, oh yeah, he'll do it. Give him the suit. He'll do it for an hour and a half and sweat his balls off and hand presents out to the 50 kids we have here.
Yeah, I'm sure you blend in right in with the kids. With no costume, thank God, is Gary back with us from the Crossing the Pond podcast. Gary, what's happening?
I'm all right. I feel a little bit underdressed. I'm sorry. I will say this though, mate. If you're going to get a sack, can you get a little bit more of a appropriate color? Because that was the sackiest looking sack I've seen.
Tan colored, is that like a pillow cover you got as a sack or what? Oh man, yeah, good times over here. Yeah, Christmas Eve. Ozan was just saying we're kind of finishing on a good notes. Hopefully, it'll keep going like that this weekend too, with the 3 points and stuff. We talked about it last week. All we cared ultimately was 3 points. Let's get the streak going and stuff. But then I'll start with you, Gary. How come you go online and it feels like, if you didn't know the score, it sounds like we lost or something?
It was going so well, wasn't it? And it was a very Leeds. It was like the Leeds game for me, in the sense that we were defensively solid. It's obviously been a focus for the last couple of games, and it's working. And you capitalize on their mistakes. You get a little bit lucky with the goal, with the hands in the back, and all of a sudden it's 2-0. And like we said last week, the crowd had fell asleep, and all of a sudden they bring on, I don't know how much I can curse on, but they bring on the king of the shithouses, and he comes on, and it's this thing this year that, I don't know if you've noticed this in a lot of games, it's just chaos. It's long throws, it's balls in the box, and we just don't seem equipped for chaos. And when it happens, I can imagine this game, I can imagine we're going to see this at least a good few more times this season, where we're up in a game and we're comfortable, and then they just decide to throw the kitchen sink at us and we're just struggling. Thankfully, we got away with it because of the stupidity of their own players, really. Romero getting sent off is ridiculous. He's an idiot. That game was there for the taking for them at that point. But yeah, like I said to you on the text, I was screaming at the telly for the last 20 minutes. Just keep the ball, and then they pass it to Kirkes and it'd go out of play. And then Jones would go through, and he could have just kicked it in the corner, like in rugby, and just boot it. But obviously that's not the blueprint, but he could have, and it would have took the pressure off. But yeah, it was it's just very frustrating for a lot of people. But again, we've got to peel it back. And like 6 weeks ago, if you'd have said to us, right, okay, you're going to have won 4 out of 6 games going into Christmas, you'd have took it based on what it was like 6 weeks ago. People have very short memories in football, don't they? And everyone just loses their mind. Like, you know, you'd have took it 6 weeks ago. So I think I'm happy with it. And like I know a few other people have said the same thing. Just win. It'll be the same Saturday. Just win. And it's the league's already starting to look a little bit different, isn't it? We're 5th, 6th now, and it's, you know, within touching distance of 4th place. But yeah, I mean, listen, I don't understand. I can understand the frustration, but at the same time, you've got to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, with the Gordo. I mean, I admit it was very much like Leeds, and I think that's where part of the panic comes from. We're a little fragile right now, so when something like that happens, the whole oh here we go again mode starts, and it's like very panicky. We even did like a social media post like asking people, because I saw people who already had the slot out agenda was like, you know, oh, this is slot and stuff. But I mean, I feel like I'm yelling at the TV, and I don't remember yelling at slot the last 10-15 minutes. It was yelling at players doing just like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? I don't even understand. Like, these guys are like, I mean, like some of the younger guys, newer guys, even those guys have played in big we don't have high school kids out there. It was frustrating, but it was mostly I think like fragile states more than anything else.
They got sucked into the shithousery. Like they stopped playing and stopped playing with their feet and started playing with their heads and their hearts, and got sucked into a game that they weren't ready. They weren't prepared for it. You could still see that the club and the players are, although we've dropped points, but you know, we haven't lost the game in quite some time. There's still that era of like, it could go wrong at any moment. You know, it's a little bit of we've been here before. We've dropped points in this situation before. And you saw that there was nervousness, right? They weren't as solid and as fluid. And literally the only thing that changed was Richarlison comes in and scores, man, just clear the ball. I mean, how many people couldn't swipe it away? Verge miskicks it there, and he's left alone. Of course, 2 seconds he's on the ground, right? It's that dive that nobody touches him. He dives in the box and then stands up, and of course nobody's covering him because he was just on the ground. Stands up, finds the ball. Of course, he's the one that toe pokes it in. Everybody in the Discord, I'm sure Discords across the universe had been like, oh, this guy's good. He's going to score. He loves a meaningless goal against us right at the death. And he gets one again. And I think it is just that, a little bit of timidness in those situations, because we've been in this situation so many times already this season where we've been in a winning position and dropped points, or, you know, and just recently with the Leeds game too, you know, dropping, you know, the 3 goals that they had scored against us and dropping what looked like a pretty easy 3 points in the bag becomes 1, feels like a loss. And of course we're away from home too. So the home fans were just loving that. And we got sucked into it.
And I think we talked about, I can't remember if it was Wednesday or if it was like Friday morning, we were talking about how like kind of shaky that stadium is, and you could really turn the fans on them, which did happen. I mean, the red card and everything like that. And then you can kind of tell it's constant rumblings and mumblings in the stadium. It was like dead in there. I actually blame Frank, because if they needed something to get that stadium going, it was a dude like Richarlison. So I do blame Frank on not seeing that and saying like, you know what, I'm just going to throw this guy out there because we're down to 10. The only way we're winning this game is basically shithousery is in the first place. So yeah, like you said, Gary, it's I have the king sitting right next to me over here. So if he came on in another 15, 20 minutes earlier, I think there'd be a lot more cards in that game for one. And it could have been like much worse. But at the end of the day, the Isak injury obviously puts like a damper on it. But you have to take the win and say, we have an actual streak going.
Have to. I mean, you look at the games and you think it's a real. We said it last week, and it's a real chance to get a bit of momentum. And it doesn't feel like momentum because you say the way that the games play out, but it really is. And it's like I keep saying it, like well, Man City are creeping along, aren't they? They're creeping along. They're not really doing anything. Well, we should just be going. And you know what? Yeah, okay. People can shout. and there can be noise all around it, but we're still winning, and we're still winning, and we're just, we're getting through games and we're getting points, and that's kind of how it needs to be. Because if you start overthinking it, all of a sudden, people are panicking a little bit, and then we drop another point, and then it really is a problem. But imagine if we weren't winning these games. We are, though. So it's you've got to ride it and just get through it as best they can. My biggest problem is the way that we're getting played against at the moment, with the long throws and everything. Like, it's difficult to deal with that as a player and as a manager as well. Like, you could have the best players in the world, and like you said, Gordo, Santa, like your heads fall off, don't you, in that moment in the game, and the crowd got behind them, and there's arms flying everywhere, and there's people on the floor jumping up, missing challenges, and it just needed someone to calm it down, and there was nobody really able to do that. And you forget that we had an extra player, and we still weren't able to do it.
You got 2 extra players at the end, and still, how do we not keep the ball with 2 extra players? That was probably the frustration. But my frustration is somebody on that pitch has to be like, can we calm the fuck down, please? We have 2 extra people here. There's no way in hell they should be able to get the ball from us. Really, if this was a drill, whoever lost the ball would be like, slapped in the face, because we were like, there's like 8 of them really running around, 11 of us trying to win the ball from us, and they're tired, and they're getting it from the stadium, especially earlier when we were like, they were only like 10 men and stuff. Why do you think the lack of? I was kind of blaming the fact that, and I was that dude, like, in the back, it's a lot harder to get the calmness going for the guys in front of you. You almost expect that out of more from like the midfield and the forward lines, because in the back, we're freaking, we're clearing it over here. Can you guys please stop him from coming back constantly? So as a defender. So it's kind of hard to be like, hey, dude, what are you doing? And then the ball comes back again, and then you clear it again. The ball comes back again. It was shocking that nobody in that midfield and the front line said, I got this. And I think the guy I was kind of expecting in a shocking way was Curtis Jones, based on how he played the entire game too. And he becomes the young Curtis Jones suddenly. I was like, no, not now. This is the worst time to become the old Curtis.
Yeah. I mean, he was dropped. Like, you look at some of the again, without going too much footy-wise, he was dropping in to a back 3. We're playing against 9 players. Why? What's the point? There's no point of him dropping in there. So he drops in there. He does young Curtis Jones, as you put it. He gives the ball straight away. And then you think about what happened as well. Like, there was a lot of substitutions around the time Richarlison came on. Like, he brought Frimpong on and put Szoboszlai at right back for some reason. So that takes him out of the middle. So now you lack that little bit of quality in there. And you've got Frimpong that's, I'm sure he's going to have something for him, but he's just like he's a madman, and he just runs. And he's tiny as well, which doesn't help the situation if they're lashing balls in the box. So I think there was a lot of moving pieces around the time that Richarlison came on. So that you're still adapting to that as well. But I just think from a management standpoint, that's where they can be better. Just putting those pieces. And they didn't press as well. I don't know if you noticed this as well. Yeah. Spurs had 10 players. They were sat back on the halfway line, so it was inviting long balls, which was then inviting conflict, which was then inviting free kicks and throw-ins, and it was just, we just couldn't get out of our own way. And there was, what frustrated me, and I'm sure it was happening, and to your point there, it just seemed like nobody was like, right, let's just everyone just calm down and have a minute. Like, if the ball goes out of play, just relax. But it just got more frantic than it needed to be.
That's when, Gordo, I want someone to be the Richarlison. And that's why I was really glad when Robertson was coming in. I was like, here we go, kind of a thing. Somebody has to fall, take a dive, win a free kick, stay on the ground like they got shot for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, while everybody gets a breather and talks to each other and says, hey, there are only 9 guys. You guys know that, right? And then we kind of calm down. We didn't. We kind of fed into their like craze. We're like, you guys want to go like crazy? We go crazy too for some odd reason, and we kept doing it.
Yeah, it was infectious. But I do think, to Gary's point, with all the substitutions, that's when you need that bit of calm, that I don't need to think about who's next to me. I could just play the ball because they've been there all game, and that person wasn't there anymore, so they were still adjusting because we did change the style of play, so that probably led to it. That game was begging for like a Henderson or a Milner type player, somebody just to calm level heads, drag everybody by the scruff of the neck, get them out. Let's they can do that. We're going to focus on playing football for the rest of the 15 or so minutes. And nobody stepped up. And I think partially because there was so much pressure. Verge couldn't be that guy because he was so focused on, getting his back line. Yeah. And maybe that's, to your point earlier about, being in the back line, you need somebody from the midfield, because I just think Verge was overwhelmed with the amount of pressure and the high press that they were doing. And, he was getting involved in some of that stuff too. Originally, I hadn't seen that Romero had gotten the red, and he was like holding Romero back. And I was like, let him go. Just let him go.
Dude,
and then
I said this.
Yeah. And then I was like, wait, he was sent off already. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, he wants him off the field. But I thought he was just on the yellow and arguing. I was like, what are you doing holding him back? So Verge was involved in everything. And I think when you are involved in everything like that, you don't have that ability to, take a step out of the scrum, as it were, and starts yelling at players to get back into position. But yeah, I was happy to see Robertson, because those are the games that he thrives in, right? Like those are those chippy games where he can just one up somebody, or get his foot in and get dirty. So and there was the one play he knocked it off his head or his knee or something, and then kept it in and then ran down the line. It didn't, it didn't stay down there, but that's kind of what we needed. Somebody just to take the ball in their foot, knock 20 or 30 seconds off, have everybody come out of the shell, force Tottenham back. And he made that run twice, which was nice to see, but yeah, we couldn't get anything going. So, and I do think that we kind of lost our heads a bit. And maybe that's because Slot's tactics are so composed that when we face an uncomposed team, we don't know how to play through it. Whereas Slot was very, they always equated him to heavy metal football. And that almost was like, oh, we're very much at home in this chaos. So we can play around you because, we're fine changing our style from a slow build up with triangles to a quick counterattack up the wings. And Slot really, it was very inventive in the moment. You set your guys up and you just kind of go for a bit of magic if you have the opportunity, where Slot is so composed that maybe that chaos, it just falls apart. You don't have the triangles anymore because the defenders are not where they're supposed to be. And again, I mean, it happened so late that they lost a man, but oftentimes you do see that extra space for a team that's chasing is a lot easier to play with, because the other team has set themselves up to play against 11 men, and now there's only 10, and there's that extra bit of space. And sometimes you see one or two players find some space, and maybe it's just a combination of all those things.
That's a good point, actually. I didn't think of that. That's probably part of it. But I don't understand, Gary, do we just not? It feels like when you talk about those throw-ins and stuff, and yeah, I mean, you are basically telling the league, look, this is how we struggle. And then, like, you're asking people to do it. Is it because, like, when I think of it, not only we have overall a small team, like there are a lot of players that are like, not tall, but the ones we have who are tall are not very physical ones. Like Gravenberg is a relatively bigger dude, but he's not really that physical, and you can't trust him that much in the box to win a header and stuff like that. Same thing with Szoboszlai. He's not like he's taller than Frimpong, but when the ball is in the air, they're probably about the same. Really, it doesn't really matter. Maybe the little guy actually can get in your way more than Szoboszlai can. Is that why you think, or like why is it that those are basically Gakpo? Yeah, Ozan says Gakpo, for example. That's another dude that's, like a freaking, it could be a center in basketball, but he doesn't play his size. But why do you think we struggle so much with that?
I think that's your point, isn't it? There, like they have got size. They're just not gritty, are they? They're not like to your point about Andy Robertson. Andy Robertson comes on, doesn't he? And he's a gritty player. Like he'll get stuck in, he'll put a foot in, and it's sad thing is we've got a lot of people like that, but they're all like Alexis McAllister will do that all the time. He'll leave a foot in on someone. He'll go down on the floor and run the clock down. And it's just, the big guys aren't like that, apart from, Konate's job is just to win headers. As far as I'm concerned now, he just wins headers, that's it. But he can't do everything. Van Dijk can't do everything. De Gaulle can't do everything. And I think when you've got players like that, you miss out on these little things, like the little challenges don't quite go your way. The ball it's not cleared, for example, like for the goal. It doesn't get cleared when it should get cleared because the lads just aren't getting there. And it's you can have all the size in the world, can't you? But if you're not prepared to put your foot in or get stuck in a little bit more, it's not going to work out for you. And I think that invites everything else. And then it's it's very difficult to deal with those things, isn't it? Flashing balls across the box and throw-ins and constant free kicks. Like you said, you played at the back yourself. And it's just difficult. You just constantly do it. And who's marking who? And it just frustrates me the amount of times I see Alexis McAllister marking the biggest player on the pitch. Or Frimpong. Frimpong was chasing round. Who was he chasing round? He might have been chasing Romero round in the box on a corner. And it's like a little, like a little chihuahua trying to get hold of something. And it's unbelievable.
He was pushed, and at one time he went like 4 player lengths, just a half a shove.
Get lost. Yeah. It's tough.
Well, I'm against that zone marking person. I would hate to play in it, I guess. Let's go that way. But that's kind of like a lot of teams do that, and it does not make sense to me to put the you are basically putting a chihuahua there, hoping the other big trips on them so that, they can make that proper run that they want to the incoming ball. But I feel like you're taking kind of like one guy away from your defending at the same time. I'd rather have that guy on the front post or something like that, or blocking like the short corner or something, rather than, why don't you just harass him a little bit in the middle of the box over here and hope that you don't fall, you just trip him up. I just don't get that feeling at all. If Ryan says, Shelton was here actually yesterday as well. He says, I think I've spent a lot of time here. Yes, last night we did the rival bros, and like Ozan says, Idip is not as vocal as he used to be because United is once again where they belong.
One of the best Christmas presents ever is all those memes that are like United super team, 26 points, Liverpool's crap season, same. It's like this. Love it.
He's not as vocal about United and the comeback and all that kind of stuff. So, but going into this weekend, because I know you got presents to give out, so we're gonna lose you earlier, Gordo. We talked about this last week, so I'm in the same exact position, and actually, it scares me more that it's Wolves and it looks like a done deal. You don't even have to go out there, kind of a thing. It scares me even more, these games where people are already like, we should score 3, then start subbing and stuff. It's like, shut the hell up. Like, that shit never happens when we say that. So where are you at with that? Because we talked last week about we just don't know what the hell we're going to get. Do you know what we're going to get?
Yeah, this is one of those ones where Wolves are probably looking at it and go, if we play the same way we did against Arsenal, Liverpool probably don't have that fortitude to even though there were 2 own goals, right? And it was very unfortunate that Wolves don't get anything from that game, but they play that same gritty way. This is a team, obviously we saw it against Tottenham, just that a little bit of frailty when up against it. And if Wolves can go, because it was 1-0 in like the 80th minute. And I stopped watching. I was like, this is too good. If I keep watching, they're gonna lose the game. Lo and behold, the Wolves end up losing it. But so it didn't matter if I watched or not. But this is one that if they get themselves in a situation again, this is a team. Well, they'll be telling themselves this is a team that might not have the fortitude to go and win it by forcing something, and they might get their points here. So it's going to be a very hotly contested game. I think Wolves will look at this and go, like, we've got a chance to put some pressure on them and maybe find an early goal that can unsettle the entire thing. But this is another, and we're probably going to be saying must wins until February, but this is another must win. We have to win. It doesn't matter how we do it. If it ends up being the same way, I'd like not as many injuries, that's for sure, not as many knocks going into the January period, but by any means necessary this game.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure, Gary, for Wolves, they're probably like, if we're going to ever get anything out of Anfield, it's now. But if you score an early goal, that Wolves team is already in the mode of, well, guess not this week. So it's just a matter of getting that goal, but I just don't have confidence in us being able to get that magic going, especially with the injuries you have up top.
I think so too. I mean, excuse me. I think this is every team that plays us this season is thinking the same thing, aren't they? If they can dig themselves in and keep the game going or get a goal, they can get something out of us. But we've got a decent record, haven't we? I think, aren't we something like 10 wins and a draw every time we've took the lead in a game? Something like that. So it is, isn't it? It's like we've got we were talking about before about the chaos and how do you get past it and dealing with the little fellas. And we've got loads of little fellas. I'm not saying buy a team of absolute beasts. Like, I'm not saying that because it doesn't always equate. Do you know what I mean? But we've got to find a way to get on top of them and control the game. Like there was periods the other day where we were controlling the game in possession and it was brilliant. And but then all of a sudden heads start falling off. So it's like we need to just be able to control that game and stop, just absolutely negate anything that comes back our way, which it's not going to happen in a game of football, is it? You're going to give chances away, but we just need to be on the front foot. I honestly think it's going to be. I'm going back for this weekend. I'm going flying back tonight, so I'm going to game. I'm going to match at the weekend, and I can just see it every time I go back at Christmas. It's Wolves, and we batter them and win 1-0. And they have a. I can remember a game a couple of years ago. I think it was this. I think it might be the season we won the league, 2020. Just before it was before COVID shut everything down, and we won 1-0. Mane scored. And they had a goal disallowed for VAR, and everyone in the ground was just like, "Oh my god, it was the worst. It was horrible." I just got a feeling that's what it's going to be like again, which I'll take because, again, to my point before, I can't argue about it. But I think we'll be in control. I think we'll score, but I just can't see us putting it to bed. I think we'll win 1-0, but that'll be about it. I hope we score this next week after we've won 5-0. That'll be great.
Like you're saying, the Spurs game was good. If that game ends in the 70th minute, Gordo, we're probably talking a whole different tone now. And we were saying, like, these guys are almost back. They're getting used to each other, blah, blah, blah. But then when you add the last 20 minutes, it's almost like it erased the first 70, which is probably unfair on the boys.
Yeah, we were definitely stroking the ball around. It looked like everybody knew what they were supposed to do. They knew the direction that we were supposed to be going. I think we'd be discussing a different game had it ended in the 75th minute or so. And you just hope that they can pick themselves up and do that again. Because if they play the same way for periods, we haven't seen a full 90 really. I mean, maybe the most complete game we've seen so far has been West Ham, but I mean, it was West Ham at probably their lowest point so far this season. Looking at the table, it could get much worse for them, but we played them at a particularly low point. And if we play the same way that we did in parts or pieces of that Tottenham game, I think we shouldn't have a problem. But the game is never played on paper.
Yeah, Jimmo says a win is required now to stay above Manchester United. I don't know. They play Newcastle on Friday. We were just talking about it on our Rival Bros last night, and I don't have a lot of hope. Well, actually, reverse that. I have a lot of hope in terms of like Newcastle getting something out of that. Fernandes is gone too. I think they're going to be, as much as all United fans talk a lot of shit about him, really everything goes through that guy. So I don't know if you're going to rely on Ugarte and Casemiro to build play for you. You're in shambles. So that should be like an interesting watch. We were talking about this, like these post-Christmas sit and watch footy all day thing is part of the past now, unfortunately. But I mean, so you said, Gary, that you're mainly after the score. See, Ozan says, I'd rather see a 4-3 win instead of a jammy 1-0.
I don't know. I mean, because again, it's a win, and 4-3 is great, but it just comes away from everything we've been talking about, right? Or I've been talking about. So again, everyone has their opinions, but this whole thing of trying to have a defensive shape, trying to build on something, trying to be difficult to break down in the run of play. And I think I'll take it 1-0. Again, it's just we just need to keep winning, go on, because winning breeds confidence. And a 4-3, like, look, we won the other day. We won 2-1. Everyone's screaming, And same thing with Leeds. It was for 70 minutes against Leeds. It was brilliant, and then everyone's screaming again, myself included, to be fair. But we just have to. I think I'd rather take the control and the win because City are doing it. Nobody is talking about City. And when they won on Saturday, they were top of the league for a day. Nobody's talking about them. And they're just creeping along and winning games. And granted, they're, better equipped. They got more players. I mean, to be fair, like I said, I put available to play. If I take my boots on, I might have a chance. At least getting on the bench. But, I think I'd take the control over the chaos at the moment.
I think so. I mean, you look at last year, and, there were a lot of games. When you go back and watch last year, there were not a lot of games where we blew people out, like, 5-0 and 6-1 and stuff like that. It was a lot of the slot special 2-0, 2-0, but the difference last year was these clean sheets, probably, Gordo, where you could go up 2-0, kill a game, bore the other team to death, maybe bore us to death. We didn't care because all we wanted was 3 points anyway. But it was kind of like, okay, we're up 2, so we're closing up shop over here. We're just going to move the ball around, not really go for 3, but definitely not going to concede. So at the end of the day, as long as you keep clean sheets and you have your defensive shape, I think we're counting on the fact that you have enough talent up top to get you goals, despite the injuries.
Yeah, I'll say this and then I got to bounce, but it just proves that you can't please everybody, right? Because you win, you can go the whole season winning 2-0. People call
that's not good coming from Santa, by the way. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, but yeah, it's there is a no-win situation. I bet there could be a season where we go 5-0. You know, win are up 5-0 at halftime for every game of the season. Somebody would still find something to complain with. So at the end of the day, if we get to Champions League football, win maybe one trophy this season, the 1-0 here, you know, the heartache within 90 minutes is not going to be remembered. So yeah, before you turn into even bigger Grinch over here, any special plans aside from you being Santa? Don't you have a work? So you have to get out of this costume and put it back on. Are you going to be Santa? No, I'm probably just going to hop on the call with my boss here. He's in the room waiting for me. So
have fun with that.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, guys. I'll talk to you.
You too, man. Take care.
Take care, mate.
Yeah. When the boss is waiting on the other line, man, Ozan, he's not going to listen to your questions, man. He just bailed. Bailed in a rush over there. Yeah, he told me actually, yeah, because he said exactly at 30 at least the boss is punctual, so we'll give that. But I mean, yeah, I don't give any chance of us winning the Prem. I don't know if you heard about the Semenyo news too. I was kind of looking forward to that. I was hoping that would kind of ease the pain of all these injuries. But last I saw, I have not seen anything this morning, but the last I saw is, I mean, nothing is definite. Obviously, nobody can sign, but he's most likely headed to City. So what do you expect, or what do you want out of this January window?
I mean,
or what do you? Well, I mean, I think we can want a lot of things. What do you think will happen in the January window?
I don't know. I mean, we'll get Harvey Elliott back to start with. You know what though? You just don't know what the transfer strategy is, do you? I mean, like everybody's saying, well, I want this player. We would love this player. This would be great. We need a centre back. But you just don't know what they're thinking. I mean, even with the Semenyo stuff, like I read yesterday. Obviously, you've seen the Man City thing, but I read yesterday that Liverpool was his first choice, and it was pretty much done. And then you look at the City thing as well. It's a bit like the Van Dijk one, isn't it? I'm hoping that tomorrow morning we wake up, or Boxing Day we wake up, and there's a picture of Semenyo holding a shirt next to the Christmas tree, like Van Dijk was. But you just don't know, do you? I mean, and I was looking before I came on about the injuries, and even the young kids are getting injured. Yeah. Like even like Dan's isn't there, or there's
always injured though, man. That kid.
I know, and that's the thing. Who else is out there you would go for legitimately now? I'm hoping someone pops up in the comments with stuff like that, because I tend not to try and speculate over loads of things, because I don't know. It's when things get dragged out, it never seems to happen. But I don't know. I'd love you need a winger, don't you? And Semenyo would have been the obvious choice, but yep. You know, I don't keep my eye on as much on what's out there. I try and concentrate on what we've got, which is to a fault, I suppose, really. Because I'm like, well, can Harvey Elliott come back and can he play? Is Chiesa going to start on Saturday? Has to, right? I mean,
we were talking about that. We were saying, we're coming to Kaza, and then we were talking with Gally actually Monday night too, that we actually talked about this on your podcast when we were talking about, fans and how tourists are seen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're going to be there. So I don't know. Are you considered a tourist when you go back, or?
I think I can sneak under the radar a little bit.
The accent probably helps. So like, he's one of us. But when, games like this, especially when you're playing against Wolves, leave alone like a team that's in the relegation zone, it's already pretty much relegated kind of a deal, even before January. The expectation is always like, oh, we should smash them, and the crowd is never into the game. I was even like making fun of it, saying like, it sounds like everybody's a tourist that day. You throw Chiesa out there, I think it's a great way to get fans engaged, because it's almost becomes like a make-a-wish thing. And if everybody's wish was to have Chiesa start, there you guys go. So I feel like not only tactically, because you don't have a lot of options, I think it makes sense in terms of getting Anfield behind the team and keeping them in the game, because I can see this game being, especially if it doesn't start hot and heavy with an early goal, where it's like a very, very quiet first half, or we're just like watching it like it's a practice session.
Yeah, I'm hoping, like, I think in the crowd, it's a 3:00 Saturday. It's a 3:00 Saturday, isn't it? It's in that weird void between Christmas and New Year where no one quite knows what day it is, or, you know, they've had too much drink and too much cake and chocolates and whatnot, and they've had a full box of Quality Streets, and like I'm hoping the spirits are going to be up. I think because I'm meeting an old player of mine before the game in one of the pubs, and I think the spirits will be up, but it does need a little bit of a G up, doesn't it? Chiesa starting. I don't know if you agree with me. I think you agree with me on this one based on what I've seen, but like, this could be a blessing or a curse, because if he starts the game, people might actually start to realise that he's not that good. He's good, but he's not that good. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got a lot of attributes and he will work hard, but is he the guy that bring off the bench versus is he the guy that, you know, it's like you stick around long enough, you're a superhero long enough to people will find you out to be the villain. You know, who's that? Batman says that or something. But like, I really hope it works, because again, he hasn't played, so that might be like having a new player. So if he does start and he does perform, well, then that solves the winger problem in the short term. I mean, Isak getting injured brings Salah back into play now. Like, I know I said last week about, listen, he should go. Now you can't let him go unless you're going to get absolute mega bucks for him. You can't let him go now, and then maybe that's a chance to kickstart. There's a lot of narratives in play, isn't there? Really, like getting Salah back might be like having a new player, a better Salah. You know, he scored the other day, didn't he? In the nations, African nations. So
yeah,
you know, there's a lot of things there. I don't think Liverpool rush out to buy somebody big time, because if they're not going to get Semenyo, who else did he go for? And I'm sure again the chat will probably blow up and say, well, we should get him. I just think Saturday, if Chiesa starts and he does all right, great, because it gives us another option. But I just have this in the back of my mind. I'm like, I hope he does all right. I just don't want him to fail. But I think it'll be okay for the start. I don't think the crowd will be up for it. Christmas games are usually a good laugh as well. Everyone's in a decent mood, so I'm hoping it carries.
I mean, the whole Chiesa thing, I just don't understand. It's kind of like we always talk about, you know, like in the States over here, it's like the backup quarterback is like the most popular guy in town until he starts playing. And they're like, we need a quarterback on this team, kind of a thing. And that's what I worry about. I mean, we know his potential. I just don't understand, like, the over the top, like you're saying, like we can win 3-0 and people are like, how come he's not getting minutes? Like, I've seen people literally saying, like, I've never seen a player treated so unfairly and stuff. Like, they're out there constantly watching practice sessions or something like that, you know. Like, I think he's a very likable guy, and you can really tell he's a team guy, and which makes him more likable. You can kind of see that he's genuinely happy. Nobody can act that much. I mean, he runs onto the pitch when Isak is injured and stuff. Like, he's Italian too, right? He's got that. And no offense, but the British are not used to that kind of a warm-blooded guy that is like really like hyper and into everything and stuff. So I think he's a very likable character in that sense. But yeah, I feel like his thing is a bit more romanticized, if you will, where they're like, he'll come in and do a hat trick and make Slot look like, and I hope so. I mean, I do hope he comes out and plays well, because I think it might not totally change it, but it will kind of be a factor in your transfer strategy in January over here. Speaking of romanticizing, for God's sakes, I've been seeing this everywhere, including that Discord channel, and shame on you guys. My fear was actually Fenerbahce will go after him. Do we not remember when this guy came to Forest and he had like a little belly, and we all laughed at it, and now everybody's like, we should bring Divock back. It's like, dude, it doesn't work like that. I mean, and I almost feel, I don't know what you think about this, but I hate it when, like, we even, like, if it happens, I would hate it in the sense that if he comes back and, you know, with his beer guts, and like partying, modeling that, and doesn't like affects his legacy. Like we remember Divock in a certain way now, and not even that Forest photo where he has like the gut literally in the starting 11. So when somebody comes back and they're not themselves, it's like watching Stevie G here playing for LA Galaxy. It's just like I'm still trying to erase those memories because I'm like, I don't want to remember this. This is not how I want to remember him, kind of a deal. So where are you at with this Divock thing? Because I've been seeing it everywhere.
See, this is the thing as well. It shows that I don't pay attention to transfer speculation. I didn't even know that. But I mean, come on, that's ridiculous.
He was released from AC Milan. Mind you, here's the thing. Everybody is like, AC Milan dumped this guy. We should go get him.
When was the last time he played for? I mean, listen, again, someone will just pipe up. But when was the last time he played for Milan?
It's a good question because I've never seen him.
Because he was been on loan at Forest. I just, you can't be bringing people back like that. We didn't bring Michael Owen back. Do you know what I mean? I mean, even when Robbie Fowler, one of the best days of my life was when it got announced that Robbie Fowler was coming back. You know, obviously shirts all over the place, but and even then you're like, oh, please be good, and he scored. You know, he scored a few, but he wasn't the same Robbie Fowler when he came back, and I just don't buy into all that. Divock Origi wasn't. He was the Chiesa of the time then. So why would you bring him back now to start him? Do you know what I mean? Like Divock Origi was like the cult hero then.
Yeah.
Like I don't need a cult hero. I need someone who's going to be functional. Yeah. Exactly. I need someone who's going to be functional. I don't need a cult hero.
Yeah, same with Ian Rush. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta end it on a good note and just walk away and not just kind of like go with the feeling. This is why I always talk about bringing ex-players as managers too. You just want to leave it in a certain category and not revisit it again. And we're like, just remember the good old days. He last played for AC Milan in May 2023. So yeah, I mean, a better chance of, oh look, did you get fired or what?
His
company will not stand for comedy or what?
No.
And he came straight back on.
It was he just basically said don't work all day. That's what he was calling about.
You're like, I'll try not to, boss.
I already way ahead of you.
Back, by the way, are you on board with this?
Bringing who back?
Divock Origi back.
Oh, of course. I love the guy. As long as he, at the very end, he decided that, yes, I am a super sub. And as long as we're okay with that, that's what Slot's
No,
missing.
You can't be serious, Santa.
Yeah. Look,
we were just mocking the concept. I thought you were going to pile on. I didn't know you.
I love it. Look, when Slot turns around in the 75th minute and he looks at the bench that we have, as Gary had pointed out, if I bring my cleats with me, there's a chance I get on the field.
Okay, he's going to see Divock wearing like a model outfit eating a sandwich. So I don't know.
Hey, I'll take it. He's good for at least 5 off the bench, which is, sometimes you need that.
I don't know. If AC Milan said, we can't use this guy, I don't see how we're like, but we'll use him. He used to be good over here kind of a thing. He's like, that was literally... I mean, look, he left on 2022, and I mean,
what I will say though,
is this a serious conversation now? Are we?
Serious. No, look. It can't just be Divock, right? If it's only Divock that comes in January, then we've got serious problems. But if we pick some good players, bring them in, as well as Divock, it just is the little bow on top of the.
Well, it goes back to Gary, what we were talking about. Maybe we'll hear less about Chiesa. Everybody will be like, the disrespect Divock gets. He doesn't get minutes.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I can't believe you we literally mocked this concept while you were on the phone with the boss, and then you hopped on and were like, that's a great idea.
I've got a special place in my heart for Divock. Just like if we brought Costas to make us back, you would yes, open arms.
You know what's the worrying thing? I put it on Discord too, that Fenerbahce's left back just got injured and he's out for like 2-3 months. The biggest nightmare would be now Fenerbahce go and get in Costa. So I have to watch him play for 2 of my teams. That's the last thing I want over here. I'm going to text Gordo's boss to pull him into another meeting.
Fair play.
He's like, I'm watching and you're fired. Okay, let's get... So... we were talking about the transfer window over here. I'll ask you real quick. What do you expect to come out of it? I mean, Ozan was asking. I would hope to God we get Gahey. I don't know if it's still doable, but it would solve a lot of problems, I think, along the back line and a lot of depth issues along the back line.
Yeah.
But what do you expect to come out? Not more than what you want, but what do you think is going to come out of it?
Definitely need him. I think that we need a center back so bad that if we can't get him, we probably find somebody else or go after somebody else. I think we need
Divock in center back.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past Slot. He loves, even though Soboslai dominates midfield, every at the end of every game he winds up a right back. So.
By the way, talking about another guy who doesn't play his size, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think we need an attacking player. It looks like Semenyo. It looks like a done deal to City. Obviously, nothing official yet, but the papers are all circling around it. And we've seen that happen to us though, where like a player is basically 100% ready to go, and then all of a sudden, last minute changes to somebody else, or decides that the mountains and food that he eats is too precious to give up for a season. And so, I don't know. I think we probably do need another attacking player. I'd like to see another center back. The Gahey situation is totally quieted down. Kazi on, was it last Friday, was talking about, the current situation at Palace might be just too good to be like, hey, I'll give you this next half of the season. There's a chance, well, now they're out of the Carabao Cup, but there's a good chance that they could fight again for European places. I think Glasner would be hard to, in their current situation, hard pressed to get rid of him. I think they might make a small little deal. Let his clock run out and he can go wherever he wants. It's just worrying that talk is completely silenced. You don't see anything about Liverpool going after Gahey anymore. It looks like he's probably staying. So I think we do need a center back though, because the other thing it does, you bring another center back in. We've got the injuries to the other center backs. If Konate has a bad game, there's no pressure on him to improve because there's nobody behind, nipping at his heels to get that spot. And so sometimes with those players, you need those options to keep those players at their best, because if there's no competition, then there's I can have an off game. I can hold back because I'm going to be picked tomorrow. So I don't know. I think we need another center back. I'd like to go after a number 6, although the midfield feels a bit crowded at this point, and I feel like we probably need a couple of other options. But I think we've been searching for that 6 in a couple of windows and haven't come up with anybody. So I think my list would be long, but again, I think this was a project that was probably four transfer market or 4 transfer windows deep, and now we're into the third one or so. So I think we spend again. We definitely need to, but whether it's the big names that we're seeing, I don't think so. I think we're going to be surprised by who we bring in. We're definitely bringing somebody in, but I think we haven't talked about this person
yet. It's going to be, somebody who didn't get their card in FIFA, so they're going to be quite upset that they're like, I don't know this guy. He doesn't even have an informed card in FIFA, kind of a deal. So, I kind of expect that kind of a move too. But Divock and Costa start in the lineup. And then, if you put
starting.
You know what? I might turn it off.
Look.
Just turn it off.
You can't start Divock. It was literally 2 different players. There's Jekyll and Hyde. He's in the starting lineup. He turns into a man with cement shoes. It wasn't, he only did his business after the 75th minute.
One thing I worry about, Gary, I don't know, maybe this is just the paranoid and the cynic old man in me, but especially like when Gordo was talking about, like Konate, there's no pressure on him and stuff. I'm not saying this for Konate, but for a lot of players who are going to the World Cup or who might likely to the World Cup. It's one thing if you're in a title race, but I think you're going to see a lot of players, as I know, maybe I would. I know they're all professionals and everything, but, a World Cup dream is something totally different for a lot of these guys. That, if you have a slight knock, that can get worse. Maybe if you're in a title race, you're going to be like, no, I'm playing. I can see some of these guys not doing that a bit more careful with their bodies as we approach March, April, May over here. Because I mean, honestly, that's the first thing I thought about, which I don't think they qualified anyway. I don't know if Sweden is in the playoffs or whatever, but
Yeah, they are.
Same thing for Isak. That was one of the first things that popped up. Not only is a huge injury, any big injury moving forward, like in February, March, basically means you miss out on the World Cup. So I feel like depth will be important to force you to keep your position and play rights. I can see like Gakpo pulling out of a tackle in April where we're going to be like he's thinking of the World Cup. Even maybe he's not. Maybe I'm just being unfairly assuming.
You would like to think so, wouldn't you? In a perfect world, you would think the lads are playing. But I mean, I'd argue that as well, though. You want to keep some level of form up, otherwise you're not going to play. Because especially with the size, aren't the squads bigger this year as well for the World Cup? Everything's bigger. Is it 26? I'm not sure. Maybe it was always been 26. But I just think that you would like to think it wouldn't happen, wouldn't you? But I just think maybe it does. What I could see, and this is what worries me, is maybe they stick a tackle in so they get a day off. Like the joke now is like if Szoboszlai was English, it'd be like, well, he's got booked there against Tottenham, so he can have Christmas off. Basically, but you look at Konate's 1 yellow card away from suspension. So if he gets booked on Saturday, he can't play against Leeds. If he gets booked against Leeds, he can't play against Arsenal, that's the sort of thing that I worry about a little bit more. Like I would hate to think that players, I mean, I'm sure it happens and there are personalities there that will allow themselves to do it. But I would hate to think that people were, not giving it. I just hope we've got something to play for and then it's not even a conversation. Because like I said, I think maybe a run in the Champions League keeps us honest,
Yeah, I think that's another thing, right? I mean, if you have something to play for, like you said, in an ideal where you wouldn't, but if we can think that a guy doesn't push himself because he doesn't have competition, I think it's very natural to think that, because he wants to go to the World Cup, he doesn't push himself either. So it is 20. Ozan is like an active database over there.
He's saving me. He's keeping me honest as well. It's the big thing.
Okay, let's wrap up with some predictions and Christmas plans over there. I know if you were still over here, you'll be sacrificing a duck or the goose for the occasion and stuff. But what does the Texas Santa do over there?
No ducks, just cow out here. We'll see. This is first year, so my parents are in because they decided they didn't want to be in the frozen tundra of Madison, Wisconsin. So they're in. It's supposed to be, I believe, 80 today and maybe 75 tomorrow, which is unseasonably warm for here too, so kind of a heat wave. We went to go see Santa the other night and it was outside and I was in shorts and a t-shirt, which was odd. It felt wrong. It definitely felt like it. Yeah, it did. I was like, you couldn't even get in. It's like you're checking the calendar, it's not July, is it? So we'll see. I'm doing shepherd's pie tonight with some lamb, so I'm going all out for that. Then we'll do a regular Christmas dinner, and then Boxing Day, I've got some black pudding and some bangers and some Heinz beans, so we'll put on a good show. Unfortunately, it'll have to be championship football because obviously the Premier likes to. They don't care about Boxing Day anymore, but so watch some championship football and just relax.
Those are like retro games, man. It's like brings you back. This is how it used to be, kind of a thing. People going in for like rash challenges and stuff. I just thought about this, by the way. We should really connect your dad with Gary for crossing the pond.
He said he'd do it. I talked to him about it. He said he'd do it. He would be hilarious. It might be your best episodes in terms of humor, at least. I'll pass his number along. So he said he'd do it.
And good luck with that after that. Yeah. How about you, Gary? What's the game plan here? Wait, are you really going to Turkey for Christmas? Don't be going around celebrating it. You might get smacked. We were just talking about this with my brother yesterday because there's no Christmas, obviously, in Turkey. But New Year's.
But that's where Santa Claus is from. That's where
it is. Yes,
Saint
maybe
Nicholas.
That's where he's going to celebrate on the spot.
So they don't do Christmas, but that's where Saint Nick is from.
Well, it's
what kind of nonsense is that? Yeah, no, but to me, like, who chose that it was? Well, I shouldn't say who
actually
chose.
Do like New Year's is the day back home growing up where the tree, the gifts, and all that kind of stuff is New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. But we were just talking about this with Edip yesterday. Turkey is such a weird country, man. That's what makes it unique when you go visit and stuff. But it's seen still as a very Western tradition. So the very secular people will kind of like look down on it. But most people will kind of like still do it, celebrate it, and Christmas tree and stuff. That's why Mo Salah was getting a lot of shit, for example, because I mean, nobody's sitting around the Christmas tree that has anything to do with Santa and stuff like that. It's just about like giving gifts and doing the nights. And I remember growing up, like TV, there would be like shows, blah, 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 and stuff like that. But we were talking about it yesterday. So it's interesting. I guess things have slightly changed. But Gary, what's the game plan? You're flying home tonight, right?
Fly tonight. So my wife's from Essex. So it'll be land in London, go to Essex for Christmas Day, Boxing Day. And then up the road on Saturday morning, I'll go to Anfield, watch the match. I'll probably go into town on Saturday night. Back to Wigan on Sunday. If you meet a couple of friends, it's that one where I'll be here in this pub. If you're there, great. If you're not, no drama. And then
go to hell.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'll see you never.
Take me off the Christmas card list.
Yeah, exactly. And then, we're bad, mate. We don't even send Christmas cards anymore. We've been getting Christmas cards off like friends, and they've all got kids, and we don't have kids. And we're like, I feel like honestly, I'm like Scrooge, Bill Murray. I am like, it's unbelievable. But and then it's back down and back on the plane again. I'm back on New Year's Eve. So it's a quick turnaround. So the next time you see me, I'll probably have like bags down here and I'll be struggling. But yeah, no, it's good. It's nice to go, It's you go for that little bit of time and then get yourself back. Yeah, but yeah, that's me. Hopefully I'm walking out of Anfield on Saturday with, in higher spirits than when I went in.
I hope so, man. I sure hope. Is that like a typical UK Christmas food layout that's you laid out there, Gordo?
Oh yeah, we got mince pies. So I mean, here, this is the thing too. So my dad, when he left, he has this thing where he's like, "This is a tradition," and then we'll go back to visit family, and like
nobody knows it.
We don't do that. My dad's like, "Oh well," like he just assumed that his traditions are like, universally celebrated. We found that several times. But the favorite story I have is one time we went. My dad always eats a pizza with knife and fork, right? And so my friends used to always making fun of him. And so when we took my friends to England, we're in London, and actually we were in Southport. I went to the Pizza Hut in Southport, of course, and he's eating with a knife and fork. And my buddy, he's probably about 11 or 12 at this point, and he's looking around the restaurant. And he goes, "It's not a British thing, Mr. Lee. It's a you thing." Because everyone was just eating pizza normally, and he's the only one eating knife and fork. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's So he just.
This is how we roll back home. Even tries to pull that now on like Rival Bros. So like it's a saying. I'm like, it's not a saying, dude. I've never heard that. Like you just made that shit up. Like it is not a saying. It's a saying in Turkish. I'm like, no, it is not. It's not like I never lived there. Like you're just making shit up. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I can get away with it over here as well. I'm like, this is what they do back home and stuff. The girls don't know. But yeah, we got the girls coming. We used to do the prime rib and stuff like that. Then we were like, nobody really likes prime rib that much. Why are we doing prime rib kind of a thing? So the last couple of years we've done like really nice huge steak for everybody and stuff. So I think that's what we're doing. I just usually show up towards the end to kind of harass and make fun of people in the kitchen, and then sit at the dinner table is basically my game plan. But whatever you're doing, Sparky says, Sparky, why am I not surprised, dude? Why am I not surprised that you eat pizza with a knife and fork?
I'll let him know that's a 20-something year vindication right there. That'll be the best Christmas present my dad will get.
But I think they're about the same age, maybe. So that was an era where forks and knives were huge at all the pizza parlors around the UK or something like that. But yeah, wherever you're watching, if you're celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope everybody has a great holiday. I don't know if the boys are on tomorrow night because it is Christmas Day. Everybody's traveling. We'll probably post on the socials. No show Friday morning, but I'll be back with the Prince early Monday morning. Prince was finally getting a rest because he's been selling jewelry to people over the last 3 weeks straight over here, I think. But have a great holiday, everybody. Thanks a lot, guys, for hopping on this morning on Christmas Eve. Safe travels to you, Gary. And we'll see you guys after Christmas, hopefully talking about yet another win. Take care.
Nice one.